Today we're going to be working with graphs. Graphs are pictures that help us understand amounts. These amounts are called data. There are many kinds of graphs, each having special parts. A bar graph uses bars to show data. The bars can be vertical or horizontal. The data can be in words or in numbers. A circle graph is shaped like a circle. It is divided into fractions that look like pieces of a pie. Many times the fractional parts are different colors and a key explains the colors.
Today, we will be collecting data from a bag of M&Ms and using a bar graph and circle graph to show the M&M's color distribution.
The first step is to collect your data.
We'll start with the red M&Ms. 1, 2, 3.
35, 36, 37, 38, 39.
When creating any graph, it's important to have a title and an X and Y axis label. So for our title, we're going to call it M&M color distribution. We're going to label our X axis colors, and our Y axis will be number of M&Ms.
We also have to consider the scale of our graph. Obviously, these different marks don't go all the way up to 40, which is pretty much what we need. So we're going to count by fives. We'll start with 0 down here. This will be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So this way it represents the total number of M&Ms and it goes high enough to support the data we have.
Okay. Now we want to label our x-axis according to the colors that we have here. So red, brown, and blue. And then we want to fill in each of the bars according to the number that we have. So for 22 we're going to count 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 22. And then we can fill it in. So we have 5.
Now that we have our completed bar graph, it's really easy to look at the color distribution and analyze our data. So blue with 39 we can see had the most, and then brown had the fewest M&Ms in the bag.
The first step to making a circle graph is to first find the total. So we add up all the different categories and you get 175. Next, it's important to find all the different percentages that each part is of the whole.
Okay, so in order to find the percent of each different color, we need to set up a proportion for each one. So for red, we have 22 M&Ms out of the total, which is 175. So we want to set up 22 over 175. And since we're looking for a percent, it's going to equal what number over 100? So we have X over 100. Then you'll use cross multiplication and then divide by 175, and X will come out to equal about 13%. We'll do the same thing for each one. So and when you add up these percentages, they will also equal 100%, because remember we were making 175 equal to 100.
The first thing you want to do when making a graph is add a title. So we'll again use M&M color distribution. Okay, next you would want to label your axes, but since we don't have any, we're going to make a key instead. Now that we have our title and our key, we can begin to fill in the circle graph.
So now we're going to start making our circle graph. So if you look at it, red and brown together equal almost 25%. They equal 24%. So you know that you can do 25% of your graph, but just barely a little less. Then you know that red is larger than brown by 2%. So you can make it red a little smaller. So red is 13% and brown is 11%. Now you can look at orange and you know 18% is going to be larger than red. So you make that even bigger. So orange is 18%. And then you have to make sure that you color them in according to your key.
Okay, we know that yellow represents 14%. Well, since red was 13%, we can make them approximately the same size, but your yellow is just going to be a tiny bit bigger. So that's 14%. And then green and blue, we said both are 22%. So with the amount we have left, we just want to divide that in half so that they represent equal portions of the circle graph. And as we did before, we're going to color in the pieces according to our key. Now we have our completed circle graph, and we can see each of the percents that the colors represent of the whole bag of M&Ms.
So now that we're finished with our graphs, it's easy to see how when you just look at the data, it looks like a bunch of really confusing numbers. But when you simplify that data into graphs, it's easy to look at the distribution and compare and see the data as a whole.